The numbers are alarming. Only about 33% of fourth graders can read proficiently. Now districts are taking a hard look at what went wrong and how they can reverse it. Our Rahima Ellis takes us to one.
In rural Mississippi, students are getting back to basics, learning to read with an emphasis on phonics, like kids did decades ago.
Short E says what?
It's a major shift introduced 2 years ago by Dr. Melissa McCrae, the former principal here at McLaurin Elementary School. It began after she realized how many of her fourth graders could not read at grade level.
We were about 14% proficient.
14%?
Yes. So we knew immediately that we had to do something to make a change in our building.
The change was dramatic.
We were not explicitly teaching the components of reading.
The overhaul included retraining teachers, small group instruction, and tracking individual progress.
Consonant or vowel? Consonant.
They mostly left behind an approach commonly known as balanced literacy, adopted by many schools nationwide and facing growing criticism. It emphasized clues like pictures to understand a story and de-emphasized phonics. For example, in a picture book, if a line reads, "The sheep wakes up," the school says a child who's never seen sheep may say, "The dog wakes up." The child has the basic idea of an animal, but take away the pictures and the student struggles to read.
Pig.
Today, teachers here focus on the science of reading.
What's your prefix?
That includes explicitly teaching phonics, fluency, and sounding out words. What's been the impact on the children?
I've seen students who felt like they couldn't do it. And then once we started to implement a structured reading program, it went from I can't do it to I can do it, I am doing it.
Space.
Ship.
Now used throughout the district, officials say it's making a difference. Last year, system-wide, 65% of elementary school students reached reading proficiency.
It's just amazing to me to see the light bulbs turn on, to see them soak up all of the knowledge that's being poured into them.
Teachers now on a new course narrowing the reading gap word by word.
Now.
Rahima Ellis, NBC News, Florence, Mississippi.
What's going on? I got to get this off my chest. This is a epidemic that's going on in the United States.
Man, that don't make no sense. Y'all got to be goddamn y'all. It ain't no way. Y'all both in high school. Y'all both 17 years old. Y'all you don't know how to read this, Maurice? You don't know how to read this, Makai? Take the paper. Take the paper, man. Read it. Stop snatching. Don't snatch nothing from me. I'll snatch that leather wig off your damn head. What that top word say, Maurice? Dog. What the you gotta be shitting me, man. What it say? Bro, ain't no way y'all been paying attention. Makai, what the other word say, Makai? What the other word say?
Murder.
Mur. MR spells mur. You see, and there's a period there. It's a you said Murdoch, and you said Ely P-Hant or Pahant, whatever the hell you said. Ely P-Hant and Mur dot. That's what that paper say. What the man? Give me this goddamn paper, man. Y'all ain't been doing nothing in school. Y'all 17 talking about some damn man. That don't even make no sense. That don't make no sense. What the hell, man? Yeah. Oh, that don't make no damn. What the? Oh my God.
Elementary school kids are not reading. Kids are not reading. Kids cannot read. It doesn't matter if your child's at an A school or if your child's at a D school or if your child's at a charter school or a private school. I have seen kids at all areas. They all struggle. They all struggle because they don't have exposure and they don't have consistency with reading. We can blame the Department of Education. We can blame the literacy rates being at an all-time high. We can blame the schools, the teachers, but education teacher of 4 years, I specifically teach kids with learning disabilities how to read and to read accurately. We're not talking about teaching kids to read with special education disabilities. We're talking about teaching kids to read that have not had that exposure and that just cannot read, and no environmental factors included. Exposure and consistency. These two things are most important when reading, and these kids are not exposed to reading at a young age. and they do not have consistent reading, whether that's at school, at home. They don't have enough exposure of reading in general. The perception of teaching kids to read is it is the teacher's job to teach their children to read. It is the school's job to teach their children to read. Have you been in a public education classroom recently? Teacher to student ratio makes it nearly impossible to differentiate all different reading levels consistently. And I'm talking every single day for targeted reading instruction. You can have the most experienced and most knowledgeable reading expert teaching your child. If you are not doing it consistently, and I mean at least 4 times a week, 15 to 20 minutes a session, it's not going to be effective. If you have elementary school kids that are reading at grade level or even below grade level, get them a tutor, get them extra support to give them those skills to have them be successful with reading. Reading is not meant to be natural, but you need consistency, exposure, and somebody that is qualified and knows the science of reading for it to be successful for any child.
I'm gonna just say this. I teach 7th grade. They are still performing on the 4th grade level.
7th grade English teacher here. I teach in Northern Houston, and I teach at one of the more affluent schools. When I tell you that these babies cannot read, they cannot write, and they cannot comprehend, I'm not being funny. I'm being dead serious. It doesn't exist. I have kids constantly asking me, how do I spell window? How do I spell important? How do I spell though? And they be serious. They're dead serious. I could ask them, who's the main character of your story? The story of 4-paragraph story we just read. Can't tell you. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. It took us 4 weeks to get through how to answer a question in a complete sentence.
So yesterday I came to the realization my students can't read. That is the tragic truth. That's not good. Sorry. That is a tragic truth. And I struggle with being told that I have to focus on certain standards on grade level text when my kids are not reading grade level. And I just don't really know how to navigate that. Like, I see they're struggling. They're not going to read because they don't understand what they're reading. You're going to give them a test with a text on it that they don't understand. So they're not going to attempt it because then that makes them feel a specific type of way. They don't want to struggle. And I get that. I do. But at the same time, they're not going to get better either. So it's like a catch-22. Do I push them and try to get them to understand grade level text? Or do I come kind of down to their level and try to show them the standards on a text they do understand? Like, is that a possibility? Like, I don't know.
Why are we sending our kids to school when they can't read? See, a long time ago, you were taught to read the basics of reading by your parents at home. So apparently, parents are the first teachers that kids have. They should be well versed in sounding out vowels, their ABCs, being able to read stuff like Cat in the Hat and all of that stuff. But because these parents, and this is my generation's fault, they sent their kids to school with none of that, no home training. They don't even discipline their kids for the most part. So first, we will blame the parents. The next thing we'll do is we're going to go back to George Bush when he was a president, that No Child Left Behind. We are passing kids that can't read.
Think you'd be going to college here?
No, never. Never in a million years.
In some ways, Alicia Ortiz is living an American dream. The 19-year-old began her freshman year at the University of Connecticut in Hartford this fall. She's excited to study public policy, the culmination of hard work after moving north from Puerto Rico as a child. Do you remember when you first came to Connecticut?
Yes, I remember I was very nervous, but I know it was gonna be better opportunities for me to learn.
But Alicia says those opportunities never came to fruition.
Even today, could you read this, or would it take you a long time?
It's impossible. I just see his words everywhere.
Alicia graduated from the Hartford Public School System last year, but she says today she is illiterate. She still doesn't know how to read or write. When she was in early education,
they would just either tell me to stay in a corner and sleep, or just draw pictures, flowers for them.
And when she was in high school, she relied on speech-to-text programs and other apps to read and write essays.
So, if you had an assignment where you had to write something, you'd open up a document like this and then do what?
I would go here to use the text-to-speech.
It says dictate.
Dictate, yep. I love pizza.
This is how you would do your assignments.
And then...
Cats of the World VAK sporting a twin-prop airplane.
If you had to read something, that's how you do it.
She said her mother, who does not speak English well, tried to get answers.
She advocated so much. She went to the school. The principal will promise her that they will do better. And sometimes there will be people from the district or the directors promising her that they will do better.
Now, Alicia is suing the Hartford Board of Education and the city for negligence. The suit alleges the school district documented and acknowledged Alicia's learning challenges through multiple grades, but because they were not adequately addressed, she continued to struggle academically and began exhibiting maladaptive behaviors in the classroom.
Sometimes I will feel proud to be the bad child because at least I was something to them, and I wasn't invisible.
While the city of Hartford and an educator named in the suit declined to comment when contacted by CNN, in a statement, Hartford Public Schools wrote, "While Hartford Public Schools cannot comment on pending litigation, we remain deeply committed to meeting the full range of needs our students bring with them when they enter our schools and helping them reach their full potential."
What's the dog, man?
Dr. Jesse Turner is the leader of the Literacy Center at Central Connecticut State University. He feels the main issue here is inequality in public education.
America should be asking a question. Do we really care about our children, all of our children? And I would argue that maybe we don't.
A 2019 report from EdBuild, which promotes equity in public schools, found that majority non-white school districts get $23 billion less than districts that serve mostly white students. Minority enrollment in Hartford's public schools is at about 90%.
The Department of Education's a big con job.
Plus, Turner fears a crucial guardrail will be lost if the Trump administration follows through with abolishing the Department of Education.
Third thing, then we're going to move to the educational system. I want to skip over the teacher at first, and there's a reason for that. Because the teacher's like a store manager. They don't have any power. They just get told what they have to do, what tests they have to teach to. They don't allow them to have flexibility. They don't allow them to make up their own lesson plans outside of the box. They don't allow them to actually do what they went to school for. When people sit there and say the teachers are fault, no. This is a coordinated thing. We're actually dumbing down the population because it's easier to control them. But in doing that, parents are not giving their time to their kids like they should. They should be learning their ABCs. They should be learning their 1, 2, 3s. They should be watching, if they can find it, and it probably is online, Electric Company, things like that. We had that. We had things that taught us how government worked. We had things that taught us, I'm just a bill. I'm on Capitol Hill.
Woo, you sure gotta climb a lot of steps to get to this Capitol building here in Washington. Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee, but I know I'll be a law someday. At least I hope and pray that I will, but today I am still just a bill.
Gee, Bill, you certainly have a lot of patience and courage.
Well, I got this far. When I started, I wasn't even a bill. I was just an idea. Some folks back home decided they wanted a law passed, so they called their local congressman, and he said, "You're right, there ought to be a law." Then he sat down and wrote me out and introduced me to Congress, and I became a bill. And I'll remain a bill until they decide to make me a law. I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I got as far as Capitol Hill. Well, now I'm stuck in committee, and I'll sit here and wait while a few key congressmen discuss and debate whether they should let me be a law. I hope and pray that they will, but today I am still just a bill.
Just things like that. But now, if you notice, PBS, they've taken away a lot of that stuff. They give you a little bit of Sesame Street, but how many learning things do they have? A lot of things seem to be more violence-based and all that stuff. So now, when you talk about kids can't read, whose generational problem is that? It is their generational problem, but we are at fault. Your parents did not take the time with you before they sent you to school. And then when they sent you to school, the teachers are supposed to teach, but they're supposed to supplement. So when I say supplement, it's kind of like this. You learn the basics, cat in a hat sort of things to read, right? Then you get to school, and from first grade to third grade, they finish up supplementing what you've learned in your house before you got there. At third grade is where you read to learn. And if you do not read to learn, they have a jail cell waiting for your kid.